Good morning and welcome to Napa 997. This channel basically is going to be about two things. First, cars. And regarding cars, will be Porsche centric for, if you look behind me, obvious reasons. This is my 997. It's a 2006. I bought it about 4 years ago from a guy down in Berkeley. It seemed to be really well maintained, very well maintained actually. He had service records. I did not take it to a Porsche technician for pre-inspection. That was a real mistake. But I got away with it because the car was in great shape when I took it in afterwards. Needed a couple of things done with it. One was the major service, and the other was the catch tank for the radiator was split, so that had to be replaced. Outside of that, it was in great shape. I've had some problems with it since then, but not really many, given the age of the car. When I bought it, it had 62,000 miles on it, I think. I've got almost 79,000 miles on it too. I was looking for a 996 and found several with quite a bit lower miles, 25,000, 30,000 miles. But this car was in such great shape. Like a lot of people, I like the looks of the 997 better. So I sprang for it. It's a basic Carrera. We'll go through some of the things I've done to it. I love do-it-yourself. I'm a committed DIY guy. There are certain things I don't do myself. The primary one being my wife forbids me to flush the brakes, which you have to do once a year. So I have that done. Just a couple of other mods I've done, had someone do, but the rest I've done myself. And most recently, the 4-year maintenance, which was interesting. So we'll go through all that stuff, plus the modifications I've made to it. You'll see that I've tried to keep this car as stock as possible. It's a base Carrera with primarily nothing in terms of modifications except heated seats, which we don't need out here, and the leather surfaces on the seats. So we'll go through that and probably also take a look at the other couple of cars we have. I only drive by myself like 4,000 miles a year. And generally the Porsche doesn't go very far from home. It stays in the Napa Valley. Sometimes we sneak over into Sonoma. Don't tell anybody. We're pretty sensitive here in Napa about that. So that's kind of it's not my everyday car. It's kind of my runaround car. I also have, which I bought last year, a Volkswagen GTI, which is a great car and great for running around in town. I leave the Porsche to go out in the valley pretty much. The Porsche's never seen rain. I hardly ever drive it at night. That's what I use the GTI for. Now I haven't been able to resist modifying the GTI also, which is actually easier to work on. And we'll spend some time, you'll get acquainted with the GTI and what I've done to it. Suffice it to say that now this little car is a rocket. Our third car is a Jaguar F-Pace S, which my wife drives, and that's the car we take on long trips. We'll spend some time in future episodes talking about the F-Pace sometime, and you might be interested in why the F-Pace versus the Macan S, which was what we really were looking at, but ended up with the F-Pace. My son-in-law just traded his '09 997 for a Macan GTS, which I've driven, and in future episodes we may get a chance to drive again. He lives in Carolina, but we go out there fairly often. That thing is quite a machine also, but still, even without price considerations, we would have gone for the F-Pace, and we'll talk about why. So as I said, the other part of the channel that we'll mix in is the Napa Valley, and we'll be visiting wineries in the mostly in the 997 if the weather permitting, otherwise in the GTI. So we'll talk about wine some, we'll get a chance to tour some wineries. When I build up a subscription, I think I'll probably have the pull to get us into some of the car collections here, because Napa Valley is an enthusiast's dream. There are 3 or 4 extraordinary collections here. I won't give away which ones we're going to get into, but particularly a couple of the private collections are absolutely amazing. For instance, you'll see Porsche 906 Le Mans winners, things like that. We'll also drive around to other places where people come for coffee on the weekends that look like a show place for exotic cars. I mean, where else would you find the Ford GT Owners Club for the Bay Area parked and having coffee, or the 356 section of the Porsche Club of America group of about 30 cars parked for lunch. So between actually going into some wineries, going to the car collections, talking about Porsches, what modifications I've done, and a bit of the history on Porsche and the 911, I think we can probably have some interesting episodes. You know, I go back, I've been an enthusiast some 55 years now, and while my short-term memory is fading, I have pretty vivid memories of the cars we've had and that I've driven. And I go back to the first, for instance, the first 911 that I drove. I think I was 17 years old, and it may have had actually a 901 badge on it, but it was one of the very first 911s in the country. I think it had 130 horsepower. It was quite a different car than today. So we'll talk about that, other cars along the way, and my perspective of where the mark has gone. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, as they say. If I build up subscribers, it'll give me the pull to get into some fantastic places, and it'll be fun for everybody. Thanks for watching.